Wild Thyme Cooking with Allison Davis is brought to you by Corman Kitchen and Bath.
Welcome back to Midday Kentucky. Chef Allison Davis here in the Wild Thyme Kitchen. Hope you guys are having a great afternoon. I am just going back into time and making one of my favorite nostalgic dishes. This dish reminds me of being at home, growing up. My mom, once a week, this was on the menu, and we're talking salmon croquettes. So hopefully that just grabbed your attention because this is one of my favorite dishes. I love these, and these are definitely a true Southern dish. It's affordable, and I think that's why you see this a lot in the South versus the fresh seafood. You have your canned seafood, and so we're doing canned salmon. I want to talk about the salmon that you want to purchase. I always recommend, especially for the canned salmon, going with the wild caught, and I'm going to tell you the flavor is so much better. So this is a wild caught Alaskan salmon, and so we're just going to start to build our croquette batter, so to speak, and then we're going to lightly fry them in a little oil. So I've got about half of an onion here, red onion, white onion, that will work, even green onion. And then I am adding in a few peppers, which are, green onion or green peppers or orange peppers, whatever you've got lying around. I just cut up about half of each pepper. All right, so what we're going to add to this is a little self-rising flour, and I typically don't keep self-rising flour in my house, but you can easily make your own. So I'm going to add just about a cup of flour here, and then to a cup of flour you will add just 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder, maybe just a touch of salt, and you've got your own self-rising flour. So that's usually what I will do if a recipe calls for self-rising flour. Just kind of mix it in, and there you go. All right, so we're going to add to our croquettes, we're going to add about 3/4 cup of flour or self-rising flour. I'm going to add an egg. The egg is kind of crucial in this. Sometimes I'll even add 2 depending on the consistency or how wet the salmon is. If you noticed, when I took the salmon out of the can, I did drain it a little bit so that some of that liquid would come off. All right, we're going to add to this a little Worcestershire sauce and then just kind of season it up. So I'm going to add, of course, salt and pepper. And then this can be to your liking. Of course, in my family, we like a little heat. So I'm going with a little Cajun seasoning and a little garlic powder because garlic makes everything better. And my favorite spice of all time, if you've watched me cook over the years, you know it is smoked paprika. So I'm going to add a touch of that smoked paprika, and it just gives this wonderful sweet kind of smoky component to it. All right, so then we're just going to take our salmon croquettes and just start to mix those up. And it might be a little loose, and that's fine, because before we put these into the fryer, we are going to roll it in a little bit of cornmeal. And I think cornmeal just gives it that perfect texture on the outside, and it's going to crisp up beautifully. All right, so really just want to make sure we get this all well blended and we get that egg incorporated throughout. And these are coming together really nicely. And that's it. So we're going to take our croquettes and just kind of patty them out. And like I said, I've got a little cornmeal here. I am going to season my cornmeal, a little salt and pepper, because I don't want it to be bland whenever we roll our croquette, just in a little bit of that cornmeal mixture. And then I typically will flatten them out just a little bit. And we're going to go into some oil. Like I said, this is about as southern as it gets. So I've got a nice little cast iron skillet here, a little bit of canola oil, or if you want, you could go with like a grapeseed oil or peanut oil. You want to make sure your oil is a nice high heat oil. This is going to be served up with, in my house, you always have a little sriracha mayonnaise lying around, so I'm going to drizzle a little sriracha mayonnaise over it and serve this up with a mess of some collard greens and black-eyed peas, and you are in business. All right, you guys know where to find this recipe. You can go to middaykentucky.com/recipes tab. I'm Chef Allison Davis. We'll be right back after this short break.